Hello, no one. Favorite way to start a stream. Hello, no one. If you guys are re-watching this in the future, feel free to skip ahead like 10 minutes. I like to give everyone a handful of minutes to kind of come in and get situated. I was even 2 minutes late this weekend. This live stream. I ended up getting signed out of all of my things, and I had to, 2FA everything. I know you guys know how that goes, but here we are. I see 2 people in here with us right now. I appreciate you guys coming back. If you guys are new, you can simply just write anything you want in the comment section. That's kind of the direction I'll go when I talk. Again, we can cover anything Zoic related. We can cover something site specific to you. We can do some troubleshooting firsthand. I can show you how I do it. I can do some EPMV or LEAP investigations. I definitely want to talk about some exciting features that I think are underutilized. There's a major one coming. So if you guys are curious about monetizing more with your content, increasing your EPMV, or just seeing more earnings with a pretty minimal setup, feel free to just stay in the stream. I'll cover that. Or again, if you're rewatching it, feel free to just skip ahead. But that will be through humix. So I don't know if you guys are super familiar with that yet, but there's definitely some really exciting features available through there. I think it's a perfect tool set for publishers in the Access Now program. We can basically use every tool and every asset that a Zoic has in order to grow your site. Harib Flashin says, hello, how are you doing? Hello to you as well. I'm curious where you're checking in from. I remember you in here last time, but I don't remember exactly where you were from. Mike, how's it going? Hello, this just popped up on my YouTube feed. Yeah, Mike, so if you're curious about what this is basically a live stream we do through the Access Now program at Zoic. And I like to just kind of keep this time open. If you guys want to cover anything site-specific, an issue with your current site, if you have a question about a Zoic feature, if you have a question about a Zoic, we can really cover basically anything you guys want. I kind of like let you guys take lead here. But again, I just like to keep this time relatively open, answer any questions. I can do first-hand troubleshooting. I can share my screen. I can do EPMV deep dives. I can do leap dives. But yeah. But thanks for popping in, Mike. And Harry from Nigeria, nice. I remember you were last time. I was going to say that, but thanks for joining back in again. If you guys do have something you want me to cover that you think might be universal for everyone, I'd be more than happy to do that. Again, we can do something site-specific. I do want to cover some more exciting contests that we have going on, new affiliate program I'm going to cover, some really, really exciting events and leaks and features coming out for Customer Week, which is coming up. That's always a really exciting time of year for us. But yeah. Again, I'm just going to give everyone a couple more minutes before I kind of start going into here. And if I don't have any questions, there's plenty I can cover within some dashboards and just basically walk you guys through kind of what I do and what I see from my end when you guys do write into support. Oh, nice, Mike from Ohio. Nice, yeah. So I actually grew up in Maryland, so I'm south of you, southeast of the storm, unfortunately. Normally, when those hurricanes do come through this time of year, they usually hit the south really hard. They hit Florida really hard. They hit the whole, the coast pretty hard. But usually, by the time it gets to more mainland, more on the north side of the country, it's usually just a pretty heavy and significant rainstorm. Still dangerous. Still floods a ton. But yeah, my thoughts are definitely for all those kind of taking that the brute force of the impact of the storm. It wreaks havoc every year. This one's no short of that. It's definitely intense. I've seen plenty of tornadoes touch down, tons of flooding. As you guys know, Miami is just very prone to it. Florida is as well. The entire peninsula is. But my thoughts with you guys. Hopefully, by the time it does get up to Ohio, if it even does touch you guys, it's just a little bit of rain, and that's about it. Over in San Diego, hopefully we could get a little bit of rain. We had some a couple weeks back, but it's still pretty dry. We could definitely use some rain. J5 says, hello, people. How's it going? Harib, yeah, you want to throw your comment? You want to throw your domain name down in the comment section, Harib, and I can take a quick look at that. He was saying, I'm trying to pass the core Web Vital, but with all my settings, I failed different times. Any tips on it? So yeah, I can definitely take a look at this firsthand. This is a perfect example of a question. Excuse me. I don't think it'll be just helpful for you individually, but it'll be nice to see kind of how Leap works and how it affects and maybe the timeline you want to do, because by first thought. If you are just making changes to your Leap, you do need to wait a little bit of time. Leap analyzes core web vital scores based off real user data, which means once you make changes, we do want Leap to analyze the real user data, so we will have to wait a couple days, depending on the type of traffic. Perfect. I thought we did pull up your domain last time, but if we did make any changes, I'm curious what it'll be. But Harib, yeah, this is a great question, so I'm going to pull this up for you right now. And before I do that and share my screen, I will give a little introduction of who I am and what I do, so you guys aren't left there like talking to some stranger sitting in a corner of a room. The first thing I'm noticing before I will share my screen again, but just the first thing I noticed is that your cache hit rate has been very, very low the past 2 days. That's definitely something that's going to come into effect here in your Leap scores, especially when we want to analyze LCP. Increasing your cache and optimizing your cache will definitely help LCP in an immediate turn. Cool. But we've given everyone actually, let's give everyone just 2 more minutes. Please excuse me if I butcher this, but Job says, hello, everyone. And I'd like to say hello back to you as well. Thanks for joining. If you're new here, we like to use these live streams just to be open-ended. We can cover whatever you guys want, whatever you all find most beneficial. But my name is Charlie. I'm from the Access Now onboarding team over here at Azoic. You guys probably see me a bunch in Twist. I'm in Tickets. Sometimes I email you guys. But we're basically trying to open up the doors in all the different avenues we can offer for support. We find that the video content in these live streams is beneficial for some, so we thought, let's just keep trying to run it. And if it's beneficial for some, then let's just keep going with it. We do have some really exciting changes coming to Azoic and the Azoic dashboard. So I think these will be really beneficial in the next 2-3 weeks because you guys will see some pretty drastic changes. Some exciting ones, of course. But Jab, I'm curious, where are you checking in from? We have someone from Ohio, we have someone from Nigeria. I'm here in Carlsbad at our office, at our US headquarters office over in San Diego. But I do like how we all get to kind of like tap in here to the same live stream and just connect from all different sides of the world. But while the questions kind of stack up, I'm gonna share my screen here and go over Harib's site. Oops. This question here. But yeah, again, from the Netherlands, awesome. That's super cool. I don't think I've had someone from the Netherlands in my live stream yet, so this is a pretty exciting moment for me. So geographically, we're covering a good bit of the world right now, but that's really cool. All right, let me share my screen. And again, so the question here is, I'm trying to pass Core Web Vitals, both on my settings. I failed different times. Any tips? And then I do want to elaborate. They said, I have removed lots of plugins with the different attempts, but I'm not getting best page speed when I use Google Page Speed. So when you do use Google Page Speed, it does actually use old metrics in order to analyze your site speed, so it won't be as relevant to Google. They are looking at Core Web Vitals now, so that's something to consider. So when you do enable Leap and you change the settings, you might see a lower score on Google Page Speed, but that's just because they're analyzing it from a lab type setting. They're going to scan your pages from like a fake visit. But that's where the real benefit of Leap comes in, because it does analyze real user data. So again, once you make those changes, don't, it's okay to, to freak out, but it's good to take a deep breath, take a step back and say, you know what, Leap still has data to analyze. It'll update in the site speed dashboard, over the next couple of days. But let me share my screen. Enough jibber jabbering. Cool. All right. Let me make sure this loads in so you guys can all see it. Beautiful. Okay, so yeah, again, this is going to be the first thing I noticed. Your cache was super solid. Of course, could use a lot of improvement. We like to see it around the 85-90 percentile or more. But you do see this little bit of drop off. You're at 65.1%, and then actually dropped down to 26.7%. That's totally okay. My initial thought is you're probably making changes to some of your home pages. Maybe you're updating some articles. So you're probably clearing cache That way your users are seeing the newest versions of your pages. That's totally fine. But I would just like to elaborate, if you're not making changes and you're not updating pages, then just leave your cache the way it is, and allow it to just basically build up over time. And that way, again, the higher the cache hit rate, the better it'll actually help with your Core Web Vital scores. So I am just going to take a quick look at your cache settings right now. Cache for cookies is on, beautiful. Default age is 30 days, minimum cache 300 seconds, minimum cache, cool. This all looks really good, that's perfect. Cool, that looks really good. Let's go back and go to speed. So again, this is where Leap does analyze real user data. So if we do not have enough data available yet, we will basically show this and say, hey, we could show some data, but it's not going to be very relevant and it's not going to be very accurate. So we're just going to wait till we do accumulate some more data. So this is totally okay. No need to worry about this. But it does look like you did remove a lot of plugins. But I wasn't seeing this one before. Loganizer and lazy load. I do believe this A3 lazy load is going to deal with lazy loading images. As you can see, short pixel image optimizer. But you actually don't need this plugin at all, because if you do want to go into the optimization settings, you go into advanced settings and images, and you can actually lazy load images right here. So you can actually remove the plugin, which will help increase site speed. Use the same features you have in that plugin to use them right here, and then work from there. But you guys are probably saying, Charlie, what is going on with all these little warning symbols? And what these actually are is, it looks like you're actually using rank math SEO, which can cause conflicts with Leap. I would say, rank math SEO does, but I would actually say that the technologies you're using here, this A3 lazy load and Loganizer, are even more, they cause even more issues with it, because again, you're lazy loading, we can just lazy load through Leap. There's no reason to have the additional plugin there. Not only that, but it's not even recommended because the plugin is rather slow. It looks like it does cost money as well, so that's another one. It requires a paid subscription. So again, Leap is already free for you. You're already monetizing, so you have Leap for free. So just go ahead and use those free features that are already available. And Loganizer as well. It's a security plugin. It's paid. Let's see what it does. Filter out things. Word fence. Oh, these are other ones. But your site actually is protected when you do integrate with our CDN. So having an additional security is not necessary. If you're saying, hey Charlie, but my site is actually under attack right now, I do want some extra security, you can actually just go to the settings tab of your dashboard. We go to the settings tab up here, and you can actually just activate Cloudflare. And what that will do, that'll enable Cloudflare on your setup, and then you can actually go into Cloudflare and you can turn on, I'm under attack mode. So basically, turn on extra security, and you can do that there. So I would say both those plugins that are still on there that I just pointed out are probably non-essential. But let's go to some core vitals and test some pages. So this is looks like one of the more popular pages, and it's actually scoring very well. This is another thing I like to do, is you can actually visit the page. As you guys notice, content always loads first. But you saw the image optimizer probably was slowing down that delay real quick. Again, it was still rather quick, but there's definitely, room for improvement there. Cool. But let's go into the Chrome extension. So if you guys are not familiar with this yet, we actually did build out Leap into the Chrome extension. If you want to go to the third tab right here, you can click in Leap. Okay, and then we can actually go into LCP, CLS, see the technology, and then we can actually see if it is hitting our CDN, if caching is working, etc. So LCP scoring really well, and so is your CLS. So that's another way you can just test your pages. But that is another thing I would like to touch up on, guys, is that, sometimes you'll think, ads are really, really detrimental to my site speed. And while, it might add a little bit more to actually load onto the screen, we will always load the content first in order to preserve user experience. That is the number one factor that we're all considering here, user experience over everything, which is why Ad Tester was built out, in order to maintain a healthy user experience while also being able to show ads. So that would probably be my first bet for now. Remove the Loganizer plugin, remove the lazy load plugin, just use them through Ezoic, and then even you can just remove rank math SEO as it is not compatible. And another one that I see others use, um, I was gonna say Yoast, but I think Yoast was also getting flagged recently. But I can pull up a better alternative for you as well. Before I say that, let's see what we were actually recommending here. Oh, so it is pretty fast. Okay, but again, conflicts with Leap. It's generally compatible with Zoic, but a certain configurations may cause a conflict and break sections of your web pages. So this is just a warning. It's not saying it is actually going to. So the best thing to do is if you do want to enable those image optimization settings, it's just when you do your preview, do a pretty in-depth preview of your site to make sure all pages work, all devices work, tablet, mobile, desktop, try a couple different browsers, visit a bunch of pages, make sure the menu still works, and then go from, if everything looks good and squared away, go ahead and share it. Activate it. Lolo.com says, I have a lot of traffic, but I earn very little because my site is in Turkish. What should I do? Something you want to consider is, of course, the Turkish traffic, whether the market there is, on par with others, like the US. Of course, the US and the UK, some European countries are probably going to be higher paying. But again, that's something you want to consider as your country by audience. But if you're okay with it, I could pull up your domain. Just let me know in the comment section, and I'll be more than happy to go through and check out. I can basically do an EPMV optimization run through, and let me know if it's okay to make changes along the way, because I'll be more than happy to do that. Tiger Prank says, I'm at 2,000 page views. Should I wait to get to 10,000 page views, or should I join now? Well, that's the whole beauty of the Access Now program is even if you had 200 page views, you could actually sign up for Ezoic today and still get access to monetization, to your lead, to your speed, to your video, to humix, to your SEO, to your analytics, to your privacy, to your content, to everything, to your levels dashboard. So the best thing, honestly, to do is to just join now and use all the features to actually grow and expedite your site in terms of success. So I'd say, yeah, signing up now, there's literally nothing that'll hurt. Just use all the features that are already there for free. I think the Access Now program inside of Ezoic is definitely one of the more valuable ones, especially just because we open up the floodgates for you all and say, hey, just come on for free, use all of our features. We think we know we can help expedite the growth of your site and the success of your site. J5 is saying, I'm worried about putting Ezoic on my site in case I do it wrong and lose traffic, as I've seen people say that. Can you, Charlie, help me with this? I only want one ad on the sidebar and a couple in article. Yeah, I can for sure do this. There's a lot of things we can do prior to you signing up to Ezoic and getting going and after. So if you do want only a couple ads showing, that's totally fine. We can turn on a handful of settings to basically ensure that we're only showing ads in a couple locations. I will say that does limit the value that the ad tester have, but it's very valuable only testing a couple different locations on your pages. But prior to you starting with Ezoic, we can say, hey, who's your registrar? Who's your host? What CMS are you using? What are the plugins you're using? And we'll say, hey, we've seen X, Y, and Z issue with these different platforms. Maybe we can move to a different one, or we say, hey, green light, nothing should be an issue. We can get your DNS all set up, and that way when you do transfer your name servers into Ezoic, you'll basically be ready to go, no issues at all. In terms of losing traffic, integrating with our platform, we won't just see an immediate loss of traffic. You want to make sure that all your pages are still getting indexed in Google Search Console. We have seen some issues. We saw some with Bluehost. So Bluehost basically was enabling Cloudflare on their end. It was changing the IP that we were pulling into our DNS to a Cloudflare IP. So then when we were trying to actually index and retrieve these pages, we were reaching out to the Cloudflare IP and not your origin server IP, and those were the errors. We did resolve those, so that wouldn't be an issue now. But again, those are kind of just constantly, that's kind of like how Ezoic works is, we'll find an issue, we won't create a band-aid, let's just fix the problem at the core, and then we can move from there. But I totally understand your concern. This is a very valid concern. I think a lot of people would also say the same thing, but again, I can for sure help out with this. Yes, reviews funeral. I would like to know your opinion about my account setup. My domain is quiet my house. Let's pull this up really quick and it'd probably be nice for you guys to just see kind of the things I look for. Of course, there's a couple things on the back end that I can't share, but I'm more than happy to do this through the dashboard. Cool. Oh, this is the soundproofing. This is the soundproofing domain. I remember we were working on this for a bit. This is a really cool one. Cool. I'm going to share my screen with you guys so you guys can see this. So, the site is definitely very small still. We saw a spike of 26 visits this day. So that's going to be an early limitation, is just the number of traffic. But also your cache, oh wait, these are earnings. Your cache did dip down a bit the past couple days. Again, if you're making changes, this is okay. You want to clear cache so you're showing the most recent versions of your pages. But if you're not making any changes, you definitely want to let that cache just increase over time. Basically, if you optimize your settings the way you do here, then you basically have to do nothing. Okay, so reviews funeral. Can you let me know if it's okay if I make some changes on my end really quick to your setup? For instance, one thing I would like to do is I would like to turn on enable cache for cookies. I'd like to turn this on, and I would also like to turn on override cache control headers. So if it's okay with you and you want to drop that down in the comment section, just say, hey Charlie, it's okay to make those changes on your end. I will do that for you. But I won't make any changes without you saying anything. Reviews funeral. I'll let you respond real quick, but so I won't make any changes yet. Oh, please do your setup. Cool. So I got the green light. So I'm gonna go boom on, edit, boom. Cool. So now your cache is pretty dialed in. You have 30 days here, 300 seconds here. This looks really great. Grace period, 600 seconds. This is perfect. So again, if you're not making any changes to your site, then I would say don't clear your cache and just let this cache hit rate build up over time. Now, again, this is a newer site, so we don't have that much data. This is awesome. You only have 2 plugins you're using, but I will say if you are using YouTube to embed some of your videos, you actually do have the video section right here. So again, you can just do this, upload your videos, create placeholders. Again, you can import, upload a new one, upload an entire batch. You can manage your videos here, create playlists, generate placeholders for pages, customize the video players, pre-roll, post-roll ads, video title and settings, more settings here, ads configuration. You can actually update your video ad configuration here to your ad length, allow skippable. It'll show you different terms of things of revenue. You can manage your contents. So the video player is a very, very valuable feature and asset here in the program. In the platform. So you can actually just move away from that. And if you are using videos, I would say for sure go ahead and enable humix. Humix has been really, really beneficial for tons of publishers. We're still building up a demand and we want more to go to this, but we've seen a lot of really big sites use this. A couple of our big ones are seeing like over $100 a day. Literally, they set up rather quickly. They already have videos. They uploaded them. They can even share their videos on other publishers' pages that are using humix as well. So this is a really incredible network that you guys can kind of all tap into and all benefit from. Again, you can share your videos with others, show your own videos on your pages, show other videos on your pages. So it's really, really an awesome feature that I think is very underutilized. But again, we're just kind of going through a general setup. So if you were using AdSense prior, I will say, link your AdSense account and import the historical AdSense data. And why this is so vital for you, especially in the early side of things, is this basically serves as a catalyst for our ad tester to optimize your setup, because we will be able to allow to use some of that data to further analyze and optimize your pages via the ad tester. So again, that's something we want to do. You have enhanced placeholders off, which is okay. If you want to increase revenue, you can turn on vignette ads. There's some more there. It looks like you only use the WordPress plugin placeholders, which is okay, and it's a really good first set. Really good first step. But what I'm probably going to show you here in a second is that sometimes it's best to also create placeholders using the Chrome extension, just because the plugin does a really good job of adding placeholders all over your pages and all of your pages. It doesn't litter it, but it does a really good setup. But sometimes on some of the longer pages or some of the funky parts of your layout, you do want to go in and kind of make your own changes. But what I like to do to test this is I like to go to the Analytics tab right here. This will open VDA for us. That's so funny. This was literally happening to someone earlier, and they were on a call, and then I had to go into an incognito tab. I'll clear my cache and cookies again, but it's going to log me out of all of StreamYard and everything and create some issues. So let me just send this over, and then we'll get that figured out. But what I was actually going to do is I was going to go to the content section of your analytics and then go to your top landing pages. So that way we could just say, hey, your users are going to these pages the most. Let's make sure the setup is dialed in for those. But we could just use your most recent article as an example. How to reduce keyboard noise when streaming? How relevant. Can you guys hear this? Oh. If you could, I could figure out how to reduce the noise. First thing I'm noticing is you have, a beautiful image, a great title. You have sidebar content, which is awesome. You do have a sidebar floating. You have some, what are these called? Why do I forget this word every single time? God, I literally have a brain fart every single time these come. But what I basically want to do is I just want to enable all your placeholders to see exactly how many you have and where they're showing. Because I can show you guys where the plugin is very vital and very good, but where it could also use some improvement. So one thing I would say is I would definitely add a top of the page sidebar placeholder here, and maybe one between these as well. And then instead of having a WordPress sidebar here and a middle and then a floating, yeah, you guys can see it's adding a bunch here. We can definitely make those edits and just add one to the top. But in terms of your in content, it actually looks really solid. You could add a top of the page one as well above this, but that's totally up to you. Placeholder setup, other than that, looks very solid. I will say bottom of the page is definitely one you want to add, and also top of the sidebar. And I think he said, okay, he said I can make the changes, but I'm going to show you guys how to add the top of the page sidebar right here. So we're going to open up the Chrome extension, and we're going to go from View right here. We're just going to go simply over to Create. We want to change this to, we can do Automatic, select Location. And basically what we want to do is we want to try to find the div or element right here that'll be best added to. So this right here, let's see what the div is. Div about wrapper, insert here. And then we want to do sidebar top right here at the top. And one important thing when you're doing this through the Chrome extension is to actually turn this off through mobile. When you turn it off for mobile, it just won't add a sidebar placeholder there. Of course, that's beneficial because when you do that, when you do enable one for the sidebar in mobile, you will create issues because there's actually not a sidebar for mobile. It's just going to be, your mid content right there, the main content. But let's turn off the editing. Let's deactivate the plugin and just make sure that that ad does show. We probably need to clear your cache. So this is actually a really helpful tip. So if you guys are saying, hey, I just made changes, why isn't it showing? one thing you can just do is question mark no cache to the end of the URL, and this will basically access the page bypassing cache. Looks like it's not showing up yet. Let's see. Bear with me for a second. Oh, there we go. There it is. It was just taking a second for it to render. So it did just show up then. So it is just going to be a caching thing. And then what I want to show you guys that's really important is instead of clearing cache for all your pages when you do make changes, because that will be an issue, is to actually just take this URL and then go into the speed tab of your dashboard. Hold on, let me stop sharing really quick. Speed tab of your dashboard. We want to grab caching, and then we want to go clear cache for just for the URL, and we're going to hit this button right here. When you hit clear cache right here, this will clear it for the entire domain, so we don't want to do that. We just want to clear it for this URL. Cool. So so now when we access it without doing cache, this top of the sidebar placeholder or ad should show. But again, I could be cookied into the page because we did just change that. So if I am cookied into this page, we don't have override cache cookies set up yet. So I would actually probably have to clear cache for the entire domain for it to show. But again, let's see. Cool. So yeah, then when I clear the cache again, I just add some this to the end. You can see that showing right here. I do get tons of car ads, as you guys can see. I love my cars. This is my Dale Earnhardt Jr. shirt, so you know it's a good day. Sorry, that was a bit of a ramble, but I hope that did help you guys out a little bit. Mike, I want to say that this comment is a really good question. Well, I guess this question is a really good question, but you do not want your AdSense ads to show along Ezoic ads at the same time. That'll actually hurt revenue really bad and also hurt your user experience. Kind of the background reason why is because when you don't wrap your ads in Ezoic code, your AdSense ads, our AI doesn't have an understanding of exactly what's on the page. So if it can't analyze that are already ads on the page, it'll basically be diluting and adding more content, adding more ads to your pages and diluting your content. But there is a setting I can enable on the back end that will basically remove all of your AdSense ads from your Ezoic versions of your pages. So Mike, simply just reach out to someone in support, whether it's me. I know you said you were just joining through YouTube, so I'm not sure if you're in the Access Now program actually. But this is something we want to get dialed in because this will increase your EPMB once you get this dialed in for sure. J5, that's fine. You don't have to share I won't have to share your site. But if you want me to look at it, I can definitely do that. So should I use Ezoic DNS or also what we call name server integration or Cloudflare integration? Which one is faster? I would say, well, they're actually like the same form of integration and it actually works the same way. I would say integrating via name servers and then just using the Ezoic Cloudflare account is probably a better way to go because sometimes, like Bluehost, for example, sometimes when you do enable your own Cloudflare, the Cloudflare CDN can create a couple weird proxies. Of course, we have push fixes for all these, but this is basically the same exact integration, the same exact setup. There's nothing really different here. So whatever you're more comfortable with. To Go Shop official says, "Hi Charlie, how are you?" I'm doing great, thank you. It's a beautiful Thursday in San Diego. It's really warm out right now. It's totally fine. I'm actually off work tomorrow. Woo! Early weekend for me. But yeah, thank you. I'm happy to be in here with you guys. As you guys know, this is like my favorite part of the week. To Go Shop also says, my website is super fast now after I deleted Leap. WordPress Rocket is a hero. So WordPress Rocket, yeah, is a great one and is fully compatible with Ezoic. You don't have to use our caching, our cloud caching. But if you do want to analyze Core Web Vitals and use all those free plugins or all those free features available through Leap, go for it. And we have thousands upon thousands upon thousands of sites that are using it. with Green Core Web Vitals, they're helping increase their rankings in Google Search Console. So while it might not be perfect for your setup and you might be comfortable with it with another one, that's totally okay. But Leap and the data definitely shows that this is a huge uplift in terms of user experience, speed, rankings, and revenue. But I'm happy you found something quick, because that's most important. I'm not going to sit here and tell you something to do. This is still fully your decision, and I support that 100%. But I'm happy you did find a configuration that's very fast. J5 said, yes, cool. Thank you. Very informative answer. Oh, yeah, of course. I'm happy to help. Codivo says, did you research users using ad blockers in private browsers like Brave? So I did. And I basically, I went on, I had a deep conversation with one of the developers in our revenue operations team. And he basically kind of went into all the reasons and the variances between, all of the different browsers that are basically being built off Chromium. Is that what it's called? Chromium? Excuse me. But we don't have a solution for this right now. It has been talked about in the past, but I think there's just such a bigger network of users using Chromium, like Chrome and all these different browsers. But yeah, we don't have anything yet. Of course, it's been discussed and it's been looked into, but we don't have an answer for that yet. Cool. Anik says, hi, Charlie. I just want to say a huge thank you to your advice yesterday. I am now Google approved because of the menu changes. Elbow cough. I'm going to interpret elbow cough as a dab, so that's fine with me. But yeah, of course, I'm more than happy to help with these changes. I would say I've probably dealt with the most Google denials at the whole entire company, because I'm in the Access Now program. So it is like a scale team. So I see hundreds of these reviews. And I will say I've gotten pretty good. I will say there were some pretty interesting comments in there, but it's okay. I blocked the user. But yeah, I've seen so many of these. So if you guys are saying, hey, I'm having trouble getting an AdSense review, or I'm having trouble getting approved for Google Ad Manager, seriously, just let me know, and I'll be more than happy to kind of go in and dissect and do that for you. So can I integrate Ezoic with a single page application built with React.js or Next.js? So yes, you can, but we will have to figure out a different form of integration, and all the different forms of integration won't be as beneficial utilizing Ezoic as they would if you were to name server integrate. So if you were thinking about potentially moving hosts to a different one, we can definitely do that. But again, we can figure out an integration method for you, whether it be through the plugin or something else, or you can use basic ads, which is basically a similar concept to AdSense. We'll basically be adding a script to your site, and that's basically how we would serve ads. There's tons of limitations in Basic, so while it is a good option for some instead of not using Ezoic at all, I will say if you are comfortable going to a different host or CMS like WordPress and one of the seamless hosts that we like to use, like Hostinger or something like that, that'll definitely be a better return on investment for your time and your effort, for sure. But yeah, we can figure out something for you. Mohammed says, sir, my ad manager domain disapproved. Please, any solution problem, multiple policy violation. Yes. Mohammed, yeah, if you want to just throw your domain down in the comment section, I'll be more than happy to go through your domain. I can pull it up and share it with everyone here and say, hey, these are the things I see. This is what I would correct. This is what Google looks for. So, but multiple policy violation usually means there's like more than one issue with the site. Doesn't mean it's not going to get approved. It doesn't mean we can't make changes to get it approved. But again, just comment your thing down below, and I'll be more than happy to do that. Lolo Nolo says, oh, is Lolo Nolo hard to read? When I bought this domain, I thought it would make it very popular. No, I do think it was good. I think I was just trying to read the .com without it with the space, so I was kind of throwing myself a curveball. But no, Lolo no, maybe I'm struggling. Lolo Nolo is not hard to say, and I think it's actually a great name. Game Explorer, I would love to troubleshoot your Leap setup or your site speed right now live. I can show you exactly what I look for. I can give you all of the things that I would suggest you change. But honestly, just throw your comment or your domain down in the comment section, and I'll be more than happy to do that. If you are adding your domain down to the comment section and you're not seeing it actually populate, what you should do is write your domain name without the .com and maybe put a space in the middle of the domain name, because YouTube will actually filter out all of the domains or the URLs that you guys add from your end. So YouTube will say, hey, let's block this comment because they're adding a URL. I did go into the privacy settings of our YouTube channel to basically allow all of them, but we were running into issues and they were still getting blocked somehow. I don't think there's just really anything we can do in terms of that. But again, I can troubleshoot this for you firsthand and say, hey, I noticed these 10 things you can change, or I noticed these 2 drastic things you can change, and then go from there. How to excel at excel.com. Great name, by the way. Master Excel. Hopefully it says Master Accelerator, because that would be awesome. My site is now so slow. Been advised that the Ezoic ads are slowing it down. Is this correct? Or do you think it would be losing revenue and views for 18 months? So no. Again, adding the Ezoic ads would not kill this. We have thousands of sites that are using Leap and showing tons of ads that have literally perfect 100 scores on their core web vitals. You can see them in the dashboard. You can see them in the rankings. But yeah, there's tons of things we can do. And it's not just the ads. Again, Ezoic will always load the content first, and then we'll load the ads after. While the content is loading, it will, the programmatic bidding process does go on. So once that bid is won, then it'll show. But again, we always show content first. Content is king. Content we always show first in order to preserve the best user experience. Cool. Game Explorer, if you don't want to share there, I would say go into Twist, where we do offer support, and just comment here and just say, hey, I need help. I don't want to comment my domain, but you guys can pull up my account with my email. That's fine. I can do that there. But Game Explorer, I'll give you my email in the comment section just to make sure you do get that looked into, because I'll be more than happy to help. I won't be offering support through my email for other things, but again, I can just say, hey, I can see you're in the Access Now program. You're actually going to use Twist for support. This is exactly how you can do it. I can generate a thread for you, and then I can go ahead straight away and troubleshoot. But again, I did kind of like 2 other passive Leap setups, so I'll be more than happy to do another. This is back to the Code Evo question. I'll be using WordPress to serve the content, but the front end will be built in with Next.js. So yeah, when you do load content via JavaScript, it'll actually, it usually gets added after the page request. So the content will actually go through our CDN, and then the JavaScript will load. So a lot of times it will exclude a lot of these Ezoic scripts. Ads won't show. We won't be collecting data. There's a ton of other issues that you run into. Gamer, but yeah, so basically when you do load your pages via JavaScript, it will be add post after it goes through the CDN. So a lot of the Ezoic functionality actually will not work. So I would just consider maybe moving away from Next.js if you really wanted to use all of the features through the DNS integration method. Game Explorer says AdSense auto ads is turned on my site. Is that okay? Yes, that's totally fine. When you do only use AdSense auto ads, we do automatically remove these from your pages. There are instances where this hasn't happened in the recently where we actually weren't removing them. So again, Game Explorer, please let me know your domain. You can just email it to me really quick, and I can actually configure some settings on the back end that will make sure that every Ezoic version of your page only shows Ezoic ads. Because it's actually very detrimental to show both AdSense and Ezoic ads at the same exact time. Cool. I do want to show you guys another another little walkthrough right here. I wanted to go through some EPMB optimization things through this dashboard right here. But yeah, having AdSense auto ads turned on is totally okay. We will automatically remove those from your pages. But Game Explorer, feel free to just send me an email for your domain. I'll pull it up right now. I do want to say, guys, that right now is a really good time to actually dial in your monetization settings and your placeholders, because as you guys know historically that the ad revenue index does pop off, I'll say. Coach Shop, I'm still watching you. Yeah, of course. Game Explorer, how to contact. I just put my email down in the comment section. You can just send it to me really quick. Cool. But yeah, I do want to show you guys something really quick. And why basically, putting a lot of effort into your setup right now is so essential. Cool. So let me share my screen again. Oh, Ventude, don't have to apologize that you're late. No need to apologize at all. But yeah, so if we want to, so this, I pulled data. You guys can kind of, I can actually throw this URL in the comment section as well, so you guys can pull it up on your own. But basically what this tool is, it'll basically show you the ad revenue index over a time frame. I selected basically from the beginning of 2021, but you can pull it back all the way to 2019 and kind of see how it goes from there. But I think it's more, you can kind of see the trends a little bit more when you just want to analyze last year. So this, of course, is going to be January of last year. We're currently in September. So this is September of last year. We're at 54, dips down to 50, sometimes starts to go up. And, we can see around 54. We're at 50 just like last year. But as you guys can see, middle of October, the ad rates start to really, 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 really climb. And they do reach like very insane heights. So why is this important? Because these trends, the ad revenue index yearly does the same thing. As you guys can see, November pops off, goes super high. Again, last year, we can even go back farther and farther. The trend is the same. It'll always go up, always go up, always go up. And as you guys can see in this time of year, we are about to hit the fourth quarter of the ad revenue index, which means that your guys' ad rates will be the highest they will all year. So dialing in your setup right now is very, very crucial and important. Now, I just want to go through a couple of the basic things. Again, import historical data is huge because we want to make sure that our AI has as much data as possible. We have customized placeholders added via the plugin. Via the Chrome extension. It does not look like we have any placeholders enabled to the plugin, so that's going to be, say, hey, that's my next step that I would say you guys for sure should do. AdSense mediation is set up. What this basically is and does is this basically allows the AdSense partners to bid against the Ezoic partners to make sure that you're earning as much as possible for each inventory spot. So if you are coming from AdSense and saying, hey, I was actually earning more with AdSense before, now that I came to Ezoic, well, two things. One, give our AI time to learn. And two, this most likely means that your setup is not dialed in because we can basically guarantee higher earnings when you are using Ezoic. Max ads per page, we always want to keep that off. Advertiser blocker, if you guys, if you don't want to actually block advertisers, just leave this off, because if you do want to block advertisers, that's just going to limit who's going to be able to bid on your inventory. And if you do this, then you will see lower earnings. Moving along through here, let's also see what settings this pub has. So yeah, there's also, vignettes and enhanced placeholders again can be enabled. Let's see if the analytics works now. Cool. What the heck? That's great. Let me send this to our developers really quick. Make sure there's nothing wrong with my configuration because I was just using this earlier. But yeah, again, I was just going to go to the content top landing pages and then go through and analyze their placeholder setup then, because I know there are a couple pages there that are lower earning. But this publisher wants less ads showing on those pages, which is totally fine. But I just wanted to show you guys the importance of having a really dialed in placeholder setup and how does it actually correlate with higher earnings and better user experience. But in general, kind of the way it works is, the more placeholders is going to be equal to, our AI being able to generate and test more locations on your pages. When our AI is able to do this, it'll find a better setup for each user. When it does that, it increases and enhances the user experience. Once that's enhanced, then users will be basically spending more time on your pages. And when that happens, you see higher return in terms of revenue. Bridget Wilson, keep getting multiple policy for MCM. My domain is blah, blah, blah. How do I get approved? Let's pull this up, and I can basically walk through what I see on my end. I love the domain name, though, gg.com. One of my best friends is GG. Okay, so I actually see that Google is currently reviewing the domain, but I can see what the site has been denied in the past. Cool. I'm going to share my screen and kind of walk through what I normally look at. Cool. When I am analyzing someone's page when they get denied for ad manager, usually the first thing I'll always do is go through the menu. And that's, I think, what Google always does the first time as well. As you guys saw the comment earlier, I made suggestions to someone changing their menu and basically the layout of their articles, and Google ended up approving on the next review. So home, about us, that's totally okay. Terms and conditions, that's fine. Contact, privacy policy, make money, and then these are the categories you have for your articles. And this is going to be basically where the important part is. And basically the underlying value and the underlying idea here is that each user should be able to easily find the content that they were looking for, whether that be a new user or a returning user. Basically, the menu should be well organized and built out so your users can find the content they're looking for. First thing I like to do is, let's just visit each one. Play to earn. So as you guys can see, when I went through here and I went to play to earn, it only leads to one article. Google will flag this 100 times out of 100. They will say this is actually considered low value content. While the content is not actually low value, this could be very high quality content regardless of whatever this article is. If there's not 6 articles or more under each category of your menu, they will deny your site. It's a little aggressive. It's a little much. I agree, but you will see a denial for this every time. So what I would do is say, I would write 5 more articles and add it under here, or you can basically consolidate your categories in your menu to have 6 or more articles in total. But again, that right off the bat, that was the first thing I noticed. That is something that's going to get flagged and denied by Google every single time. Again, I'm going to go to this one, cryptocurrencies. There's only one article. Google is going to flag that again. And while this menu is really well built out, so I can easily find the articles I'm looking for, they're just going to say, we need to see more articles underneath those, and that's what we're going to deny it for. Now you guys can see when I go to digital assets, cryptocurrencies, ICO, this actually isn't working. So this button is not fully functional. That's another thing Google will deny you for. And now this makes total sense to why you're seeing um, multiple policy violations or whatever, because you have one article on this one, and you have repeating articles on other ones. So whether this was broken or not, see again, best empty marketing practice, you only have one article. You need to make sure that there are 5 or more under each article. This one only is 2. I'm sure if we go into this, there's only one article there. Loan doesn't seem to work. So I don't know if this is just the same article showing twice in a different category, or this button simply just is not working. But again, GG, these are the things that we're going to change. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Beautiful, perfect. This one's totally fine. Digital marketing's dialed in. 7 best strategies, 5 components of marketing, 5 essential elements, 5 types of beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. But then again, we're going to go to content marketing, and we're now seeing the same articles again. So if you guys do have articles showing in different categories of your menu, Google will flag that and say that's actually low value content. You want to make sure that the article only appears under one category of your menu, and that each category has 5 articles or more. So that's exactly going to be the reason why you're getting denied for Google GG. And I hope that was beneficial for you all. So honestly, in terms of this category, I would just say scratch the drop-down menu. Just have them click on web marketing, and then you'll get all of the articles listed here, and that'll be awesome because that'll be 6 or more, and they're not repeating. Finance, I would probably consolidate finance and make money online into one category, and then just add some more articles so you do have 6 or more, and then you should be pretty golden, to be honest. But again, GG. Those are for sure the reasons why you're getting denied for Google. And I wouldn't say that with as much confidence in the past, but I'm 100% sure that is the reason now. Gaza says, I saw you yesterday. You were wandering the streets of the city. Are you from Seattle? No, I'm not. I'm currently living in San Diego. I do visit Seattle a ton. I love the city of Seattle very, very much. I actually have a lot of family that lives in Seattle, so I am up there a ton. Thankfully, I normally like to go around this time of year or in the summer so I can avoid the rain. But if you are from Seattle, that's awesome. Capitol Hill's beautiful. I love Seattle a lot. Mike says, I emailed you my site. Thanks. Of course, yeah. Let me check that out, and I'll definitely go ahead and help you out, Mike. I'll make sure that there's no AdSense ads showing along the SOIC ones. I can configure that for you. Job says, I would like to change my theme. Is it okay to do it now, or is it better to wait for Q1? So in terms of SEO, that's, it's okay. And in terms of a placeholder setup as well, this is actually okay. But I will say, so when you are making changes to your pages, and let's say you were to remove or delete a placeholder, you're actually removing all the data that our AI has stored under that placeholder. What I'm trying to get at is removing and deleting placeholders is definitely a bad practice. We never want to do that. We actually just want to make sure that the placeholders carry over to your new theme. So if you didn't add your placeholders via the plugin, you want to make sure that you hard code your placeholders to your pages. That way, when you do transfer a theme, we don't lose those placeholders and the data that comes along with them. But again, if it's, if the theme change is just like, hey, I want, a different layout, I want a different look, it's not going to make any enhancements to speed or anything else. I would say, maybe it's just in your best interest to wait till after Q4. But if you're using something like Elementor Pro that's really slow, or another Pro theme that's really slow, I would say, yeah, you can go ahead and make those changes, but just make sure before you do that, you do reach out to someone into support, or your manager, or me if you're in Access No program, and just say, hey, Charlie, I'm going to make these changes before Q4. What do I need to do in order to fully make sure I don't basically lose any progress? And it's going to be, your placeholders is going to be the most important factor here. And of course, SEO as well, but, that's, you won't really, you're not changing the URLs of your pages. Game Explorer says AdSense mediation earning is reduced now. Earlier it was quite high. Anything to fix back? There's a pattern of high spikes during the month of November in the online ad revenue index. Briefly explain it. So yeah, this basically the ad revenue index is basically going to follow the current status of our market and our economy. As you guys know, during this time of year, it's the seasons. People are spending a lot more money. They have a lot more trust in the market and the economy. So that's exactly why you'll kind of see these increases in the ad revenue index as well. Since it's such a high time for spending for everyone in the country, these massive corporations are spending billions of dollars on marketing during this time, which is exactly why you guys see the online advertising revenue index increase. My wordplay there was probably pretty junk, but you get the idea. Companies are just spending more money on marketing and advertisements because the economy really picks up this time. Again, you'll see basically a pretty direct correlation between the condition of our economy and the ad revenue index. So yeah, it makes sense. November, December, every year it really spikes, which is why right now is such an important time to really dial in your setup. But Game Explorer, in terms of the AdSense mediation, if you're still seeing mediation earnings being made, but not as much, that's totally okay. All that means is that the Ezoic partners are going to be outbidding the AdSense ones more than they were before. So you do maybe you see your mediation earnings at like $4 or $5. That's totally fine. And some days it's 1 to 2. The days it's on 1 to 2, that just means Ezoic is paying out more for your inventory compared to AdSense. And on the other days, it'll just be the contrary. Else Noragod says, hey, is there any way to show Zoic ads without integrating via DNS? Yes and no. I'm going to say no because this live stream is for the Access Now program, and all the publishers inside the Access Now program are actually going to have to integrate via cloud, via our cloud or via DNS, whatever you like to call it. We don't do that just to say, hey, integrate this way because we say so. It's because you see so many benefits in terms of security, speed, serving ads, recording analytics. There are a lot of benefits to integrating via DNS. So that's why my answer will be no. No, there is no other way. But if you're not in the Access Now program, you can integrate via the WordPress plugin. There's also a couple, more technical integration methods, but none are as beneficial as our cloud integration. And I can say that with confidence in the data to back it up. But else, if you do have a pretty specific configuration within your settings, or however you're serving content, whatever CMS, we can be flexible and work with you here. But I would say, switching to WordPress, using a seamless compatible host that we suggest, integrating via name servers is definitely going to be your highest return on investment for sure. Just do it like it says. Also, first off, welcome back. What is the benefit of Google certification program? I think the benefit here is to really just get a better understanding of exactly how the network and how this all works. And having a better understanding of this will only help you in your publisher knowledge, in your publisher endeavor and journey. Just like anything else, education on a topic is definitely going to be your power in a situation. So the more educated you are, definitely the better you'll be. And in terms of Ezoic's partnership with Google, we get access to their ad network, which is a very good one, very high quality ad network. You guys have some funny comments. Hey, I'm still in here. Hey, I'm still in here. Okay, cool. Cool. Someone's profile looks funny. We all have some funny ones. I think I look the funniest out of everyone here, to be honest. I look a little ridiculous half the time. Half the time I look like a homeless person outside the office because I just walk outside in my sweatpants and a t-shirt. And half the time I look like a better put together bum. But again, Elle says, how do you integrate via the plugin? I use WordPress. So if you are in the Access Now program, you will need to integrate via the DNS, even if you're using WordPress. But again, I'm not saying that just because we say so. It's because it's the best benefit for you all as well. you get tons of access to all the things we offer in our CDN. Let me share this article with you right now. On top of that, you can set up automatic caching. Let me add that right there. Cool. But yeah, getting access to our cloud, you'll see tons of amazing benefits. Most importantly, you get like DDoS protection. Of course, I'm reading off the article. Zoic Edge, server-side delivery and analytics, IntelliBot or IntelliProtect. It basically tells you exactly how ad serving goes with Zoic. It basically cuts the user request path in half. Excuse my word jargon. Yeah, basically it's just going to be major improvements of speed and optimization tenfold. Just do it like, it says, is there an exam I should pass to get more Zoic? People talk about that passed an exam and got the certification that they printed out. So I'm curious if you're talking about Mom Van Up, because she has a really awesome YouTube channel and she kind of talked about this. But basically the way our program, our Access Now program was set up in the past was you would basically come onto the platform and when you sign up and integrate, you basically read these lectures of basically how Zoic works, what it does, and how to basically set it up on your own. And at the end of those lectures, you'll basically pass a test, and you have to basically take and pass this test in order to gain access to your features. We did change that for many obvious reasons. I think taking an exam is kind of an anxiety, and it's like an anxiety-provoking task. I hate taking tests. I can't imagine any of you are like, yeah, let's take a test. That's awesome. But the idea when we did have that is we just wanted to educate you all as much as possible, because the more we educate you all, the better you guys will, the better off you all be. So it wasn't us trying to be, like, hey, you have to take this test because we say so. It's just that that's just the way it was before. But we learned through a lot of testing and a lot of data analysis that we can actually educate you guys, bypass the lectures, and get you guys better set up without the exams. So that's basically why you guys don't have to take an exam now. We just thought, hey, let's have an interactive setup process as you learn, so that it's much more hands-on. You actually read, and it's visual learning as well. But yeah, you don't have to take the exam anymore. There's no certificates. But they said it again. Is there an exam I should pass to get more Zoic? People talk about that passed an exam and got the certificate that they printed out. They show off the certificate on YouTube, etc. No, so that's just going to be an old one again. Yeah, Margaret, you're commenting a couple times. She says, hello, I have a problem with the content because I'm new to the field. I have a serious problem with my content. Can you do it? Sure. I will say an underlying concept for the Access Now program is that we basically will facilitate all the troubleshooting and offer all the education we can, but things will basically need to be done on your end. But I'd be more than happy to show you how to do these things, and then from there you can say, okay, perfect. Now that you showed me how, if I ever run into this again, I can be self-sufficient and do it on my own, which is really awesome. Of course, sometimes you will need to reach out to us for help, so we're always happy to do that. But most of the time, we can point you in the right direction and show you how it can be easily done on your end. But Margaret, if you are having something specific with your content, like something I can look into, that'll give me better direction on how to answer this. You can also comment your domain down in the bottom of the comment section, and I'll be more than happy to do that as well. Looks like I'm all caught up on questions. So I do want to use this time. I've been promoting it a little bit in the past, but we do have a really awesome affiliate program contest going on right now. So it does end at the end of this month. So you guys do only have one more day, or the 31 days? Yeah, one more day. But if you guys do, let's say, since we're in the last day of September, this contest, the affiliate contest, is for the month of September. Let's say if you were to refer 20 publishers and they were all to go live and show ads, that would count as 20 publishers to this total count. And if you were to refer the most amount of publishers in the month of September, you'll get a 5,000 word package from Content Refined. What Content Refined does is they basically do SEO research for you. You get a project manager to help you create titles for your articles, and then they will basically create content for you up to 5,000 words. So kind of the standard basis that I usually say is, let's say 1,000 articles or 1,000 words an article, you have 5 free articles, and they're going to be high quality. They're going to be backed up by data. You're going to do SEO research. You have a project manager, and that's what the winner will get. On top of that, outside of just the September contest, if you do Margaret, I don't know what number they were going to give you. We don't really give out our phone numbers. But again, you can literally just ask me your question right now, and I'll be more than happy to just pull it up, and I can troubleshoot for you. So just let me know what exactly the issue is, what your domain is, and I'll be happy to go from there. But when you guys do refer a publisher through the affiliate program, which will be affiliate.azoic.com, let's say I were Let's say I were to refer Go to Shop Official, one of the publishers in this live stream. Once Go to Shop Official were to reach $10 of revenue, whether it took 2 months or 2 minutes or 2 days, once they hit that $10 revenue made, I will actually get a $10 cash bonus. Not taken away from him, just added onto my account. And then once they hit, I should have wrote this down. Once they hit $50 of revenue, you get $20 cash bonus. And then once you hit $100, I think you get a $20 cash bonus. And when you hit $400, you get a $100 cash bonus. So at the end of it, you'll have $180 on cash bonuses when they hit the $400 of revenue. Does that make sense? Yeah, $50, they get $20 cash bonus. $100, they get 50. I think that can't be right. I need to pull this up again. Anyway, once you were, let's say I were referred to Go to Shop Official, and they were to, I actually missed one of your questions. I can answer this. I'll answer this right after. But yeah, if I were to refer Go to Shop Official, and let's say after 6 months they were finally if they were to hit $400 in revenue, I will basically get paid out 3% of all their earnings, but on top of that, I'll get $180 in cash bonuses. So it's a huge, huge opportunity for you guys to refer other publishers and reap all the benefits. Again, I used this example last time, but we had a smaller developer and publisher refer a very large site that was doing $10,000 a month. 3% of that month over month over month is a lot of revenue, especially, for anyone, regardless of your size. That's just, extra revenue on top. But yeah, Go to Shop Official. I can tell you about Azoic AMP. So if you guys are not familiar with this, AMP versions are basically mobile versions of your pages. These will basically be cached and served directly from Google. So Google will say, this is actually going to help with site speed, blah, blah, blah. But in reality, Google does externally cache and serve these pages. So the users will never actually be engaging with your actual domain. And the negative side of this is it doesn't really help with site speed that much. And on top of that, the users, again, will never really engage with your pages. So the metrics, if you were to actually go into your analytics tab of your dashboard and you were to go to content, find some of the pages that you are serving AMP, there'll be your URL /AMP, you'll see that the engagement is really low, the balance is really high, and the EPMV is rather poor. Again, that's because they're actually, because Google's actually caching and serving these pages for you. We still are 100% compatible with AMP. We can still work with AMP. A lot of other platforms and ad networks cannot work with AMP, so that makes it pretty unique. But one thing you're going to have to do is, let's say let's say you have 10 regular mobile pages that are non-AMP. You could go through one of your longer articles and just add placeholders top to bottom. And then those placeholders will actually transfer over to all your other mobile pages. But if you are using AMP, then you'll actually have to add placeholders to each page individually. So it might take a little bit more time. It might be a little bit tedious, but we're still fully compatible with AMP pages. You will just have to give the individual effort for each page. And then again, the revenue might not be as good because the engagement's not as good. Our CEO actually wrote an article on this. I'll be more than happy to share it in the live stream. But he kind of goes over why AMP was the way it was and why the benefits weren't as exponential as you might think. But yeah, that's basically going to be the basis of it. Margaret says, the problem is from the Zoic settings on the inside. Give me your WhatsApp number to solve my problem. I can't give you my WhatsApp number. I can definitely do that. I can give you my email, Margaret, and then you can reach out to me there. Open due date. I know you did send me an email, and I actually did see it earlier. It's been an insanely hectic past 2 days. But I will make sure I respond to it right now, right after this. I do apologize. That was actually what I was going to do right before this, but I actually didn't have the opportunity to do it yet. Oh, wait. Okay, no, wait, open due date. So you sent me an email 2 days ago, and I actually did respond. But now that I'm seeing there was a temporary problem delivering your message to service@opentoday.com, Gmail will try for 46 more hours. You'll be notified if the delivery fails. So it looked like for whatever reason, my email actually didn't go through. I did respond because I did see, you said, hey, I have an upcoming training for an audience about 200. Will it count? And I actually looked at the masterclass, looked really cool, and I would love to basically help with this in any way I can, which is what I said in the email. But it looks like for whatever reason, maybe there's an issue with your DNS records. So Open Tunde, this is going to be our next little task. If you were to go to the DNS records at your host, if you do see any DKIM, any TXT records, or any TXT that are like V equals RF, or any MX records that don't exist in a Zoic, make sure you add all of the DNS records that exist at your host into a Zoic. All of the Zoic DNS records should match exactly what you have at your host. So you don't want to change any of the DNS records at your host. You just want to make sure that all the Zoic DNS records match what's at your host. But again, I did respond to your email, but again, I got the delivery incomplete, and it looks like the issue is most likely with your missing MX records from your DNS. I can pull this up really quick now because we don't have any further questions. But I did respond to this. I did respond to your email, and I did reply, but it just looks like it didn't go through. I'm going to look at your DNS records right now for you. I see an @ I see a www, I see an a webmail record. I see 3 different MX records, which is great. I see your TXT record, V equals FPF1. Awesome. Another TXT with DMARC. I do see a new record that you actually end up deleting on August 28th. This looked like a TXT record that was a V equals DKIM. That might be the record that you're currently missing. There's also another MX record that was deleted. That could be it as well. But again, I did reply to your email. But again, this is going to apply to you all as well. If you're ever if you ever integrate with our platform and you see issues with your MX records, the first thing we will always say is like go to your host DNS and make sure that all of the records that exist there also exist in the Zoic DNS. Because if we're missing any records that again are the MX, TXT, DKIM records, or the V equals SPF1. If you're ever missing those email records in your DNS, that's going to be why your email is not working, which might be the case here, which is why you can send some emails out, but you're actually not getting them back. So OpenTuesday, I do want to get this dialed in for you. Again, I emailed you back, but I couldn't really get to it. Mike says, I'm watching the live stream. This is my site. Feel free to share. Cool. Mike, if you're still in here, I'm going to, first off, I'm going to configure the settings on the back end for you to make sure that we don't have any AdSense ads showing alongside Ezoic ones. And then I can go through your pages and do that for you. Yeah, EK Mini, I 100% agree. I'm glad we no longer have to take the test before we're allowed to access into Ezoic. I 100% agree. I think this was a really good learning experience. Yeah, I'm just going to totally agree with you. It was a learning experience for us. We saw, tons of domains that were just walking away before we could even fully review them. And we're saying like, hey, what's going on? And it's a continuous complaint that we saw. We just wanted publishers to be educated so they could do really well. Our intention wasn't to limit who can come on our platform. That's not it at all. We just wanted publishers to come on our platform, be educated in order to be self-sufficient so they can really grow and succeed. Of course, we're going to help facilitate that process. But Mike, going back to your domain, looks like that configuration is already enabled, so we really shouldn't have AdSense ads showing alongside Ezoic ones. Let me pull this up. Childcare biz, this is awesome. Dash. But before I go into this a little bit more, Mike, initial return says, is there a way to get human feedback, i.e. not SEO, tester, etc., on the design of our web pages? Sure. I mean, I can give you your feedback right now if you want. You can throw your domain down in the comment section. I can give you my insight. Of course, it's going to be biased, a little bit subjective about what I like and what I see, but I can try to remove my bias filter and give a pretty objective view of your pages. Maybe even like a perspective from a new user, a returning user, maybe even Google, and kind of go from there. Okay, let me share my screen with you all. Yeah, initial return. Just throw your domain down in the comment section, and it'll help. Just exclude the .com from your URL because sometimes YouTube will pick up this comment and remove it, which is annoying. Cool. So I'm going to share Mike's screen. First thing I notice is overall score is 75 for monetization, which is solid, but there's definitely room for improvement. Definitely looks like it's a newer site. But let's go to the home page. First thing I notice, your cache is basically non-existent. This means that it's enabled but not hitting at all. We can kind of dissect that a little bit. But it does look like over the last 38 days, over the last 7 days, you've seen about 38 visits. This is definitely going to be an immediate limitation to the progress you might see. So maybe your best foot forward is to be, increasing your SEO efforts, writing more content. But let's check out your actual setup. I would definitely say link your AdSense account and import your historical data. Again, like I said before, you have vignettes turned off, floating video ad. This is going to be a major crucial one. Beta ad formats is basically going to say, hey, we're going to allow you to test some other ad formats that are not fully out yet, and we haven't pushed into ad tester for everyone. It's all up to you, of course, if you want. I see you have a bunch of placeholders created through the Chrome extension. I do not see any enabled through the plugin. So if you are using WordPress, which, let's see if this opens up. It does not look like you are, then that's totally okay. So let's just check out your placeholder setup after that. Mediation, again, if you are using AdSense prior, link it, import data, set up mediation. This will help out a ton. One thing I like to check that's a little bit more out there is if you have any objectionable content showing. If anything is getting flagged for objectionable content, no ads will be showing on those pages. So if a page was having like thousands of hits or users, but it was getting flagged, that means no ads are showing, which means we can definitely increase EPMD by removing that content. So your settings look pretty solid. There are a couple things getting flagged here: A2 hosting, Bootstrap, ModX, Google AdSense. So it does look like you're using AdSense prior. So, well, also, of course, because you reached out in the earlier comment and said, I don't want my AdSense ads showing alongside of Zoic ones. So definitely the AdSense is going to be your first step, Mike. Homework, I'll say. Not actually homework, but let's just call it homework for education's sake. Let's test some of your pages here in Leap. This is, of course, going to flag your worst performing pages. I didn't need to open that there. Let's test this in the Zoic Lab. If you guys have not used the Zoic Lab yet, this is a really, really cool feature and tab of Leap. What you can actually do is just copy any URL fully here. As you guys can see, you just enter it here, click Analyze, and it'll basically analyze the page top to bottom to basically show you what could be improved. Loading your results. Cool. So it's getting flagged it's showing yellow. It's going to say, hey, this image is going to be your slowest loading one. Oh, Mike, I can for sure, here, Mike, I can kind of, I haven't said too much yet, so I'll be more than happy to go back. Let me just restart that really quick. But to summarize, what I saw was, we were talking about running AdSense before. The configuration for having AdSense ads show along Zoic ones has already been turned off, so don't need to worry about them showing. But definitely link your AdSense account and import historical data, because this will serve as a catalyst for our ad tester. This will basically give our ad tester more data to test your pages. The more data it has available, the better it'll do. So importing your historical data, linking your AdSense, and then actually going through and enabling mediation here, Mike, are going to be the first three things I will say you to do. I made a terrible joke while you were gone, and I said, this is your homework. But I'm going to make a terrible joke again and say, this is your homework. Those are the three things I would do right away. The other thing I said while you were gone was just to make sure you are caching. It doesn't look like you are through a Zoic, but I can again check that out. You aren't using core jQuery feature preload. That is a feature you should definitely enable and will clearly help with LCP. We are analyzing LCP right here. And as I said before, guys, if you are seeing issues with your LCP, but everything else is not looking good, LCP struggling, everything else is good, the best thing you should do is to dial in your cache, because if you do dial in your cache, that will help increase your LCP scores. There is a correlation there. The two things I would do, Mike, I won't do it, on my end, because you haven't told me that it's okay yet. But enable cache for cookies, I would turn this on, and then I would also go ahead and turn on this for override cache control headers. Both of those will help increase your cache hit rate. But since it is 0 right now, I'm curious to why that is. You could be caching outside of a Zoic, which is okay, but you could also do it within a Zoic. Do it. I'll do it. I got you. Turn these on. Boom, boom. 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 Bang. Cool. So that'll help a ton, but I'm curious, Mike, if you are caching outside of a Zoic, which is why the cache is showing so low. But one thing we can actually do through the plugin as well, which is why the plugin is so freaking cool, we can go up here. We can go to Leap, page not cached. And this page was not cached because disallowed cache control header values are present. No cache, no store. Caching will be reduced the load time for this page. Currently 500 milliseconds. Oh yeah, so it's not a WordPress site. Yeah, I did type in WordPress admin just to see if it would pull up a login page, but it does not look like you are. But on top of this debug part, so I did just turn this on. So this will cache this page moving forward. So it'll help with LCP and it'll help with loading your site quicker in general. Your cache at 0% is for sure going to be the biggest hindrance in terms of site speed. But again, let's go to LCP. Looks better now. It could be caching the page now because I turned it on, which is why LCP could be showing better. CLS is beautiful. That's awesome. And then again, it'll flag everything that you're using. Oh, so this is probably why your jQuery feature was turned off, because you're using it externally. It does look like whatever feature this is using or whatever technology this is, it is actually pretty slow for site speed. So I would just say enable this through Leap and disable this other feature on the back end. Not only will it make your site faster, but it'll make it easier for you to manage all your features and settings in terms of site speed in one location. So again, it's just easier for you to manage, and it'll make your site faster. But so that's those are my two major points: caching and your AdSense stuff. But let's actually take a look at your placeholder setup. This will be important because you're obviously not using WordPress, so you can't use the plugin to add placeholders. Top sidebar, beautiful. Under title, under page title, beautiful. You have a sidebar bottom. My initial thing with the sidebar here is, Mike, I would potentially consider changing this to a sidebar floating, so that way when you actually scroll with the page, the ad's still in the viewability of the screen, but it's not actually hindering user experience, because all the content is over here. I'm going to say this again, even though I've said it a couple times before. We will always load the content first, and then the ads. But you have a placeholder right here. I will say this is prime real estate to add more. Again, if you were to add a placeholder here, here, and here, that does not mean you will have 3 more ads showing every visit. It'll just say, hey, this will give our ad tester more locations to test. So Mike, if you're okay with me adding placeholders, and maybe adding like another sidebar placeholder one, let me know. If not, you can make whatever changes you feel comfortable with after. But this is definitely, look, this is prime real estate to add a couple placeholders. You have an in content 8, awesome. I wouldn't recommend, breaking up maybe this, because this is kind of nice, looks all nice together, but maybe you could add a placeholder after this content. Again, bottom of the page, that's awesome. Mike says do it. I like your attitude, Mike. I'm on page with you. Let me do this for you right now. So I'm going to change this from view. I'm going to create, and I'm just going to do automatically detect, select location. So I know you have a under page title. Again, let's just click here. I would say that probably adding a placeholder to the bottom of this is better. But the reason I like to attach my placeholders to P elements is because the way the placeholders can find locations on other pages is by attaching the placeholders to elements that actually exist on other pages. So of course, this P element, it's just text. It's a P element. This will definitely show on other pages. So this placeholder will actually carry over to other pages better. So if you're saying, hey, I'm actually adding placeholders and it's not carrying over to other pages, I would ask you, what elements or divs are you adding them to? Because if you're adding them to divs or elements that do not exist on other pages, then it won't transfer over. But you can actually, so see how I clicked this P element and went straight to the top? I can actually click this button here, which will change the placeholder location to the end of the element. And then these buttons will actually select the parent element. So it'll select the larger thing here. So look, if I were to say 1 up level, it'll actually add it here. But if I go down, it might not actually add it back to the same one. So let's cancel this. But yeah, that's also a handy tool to basically add it to the parent elements. I don't want to do that. Let's add it to here. Well, that's okay. This div probably exists on your other pages. So again, I'm just going to drop it to the end of the element, insert here. And let's see, I don't want to rename it. You have in content 8. So let's do in content 1, just to keep things organized. Save placeholder. Awesome. Let's do this one. Again, P element, this one went straight to the bottom. Insert here. In content 2. Boom. Let's add another one. In content 3. Okay, so I know I said, when you add placeholders, it doesn't mean these are fixed ad locations. Like ads will not be served there every single time. But when you do add placeholders right off the bat, our ad tester does normally have more of a tendency to test these originally. So right as you add more, you might say, oh, whoa, this is too many ads. Just give our AI time to learn, and it'll figure out the best locations and the best sizes to serve. What was our last one? 3. So let's go 4. If you guys do add placeholders to your pages, let's say I was adding in content 1 for each location, our ad tester will actually only test one of those. So again, you might only see one ad on the entire page if the placeholder is actually the same ID or number. So you want to make sure that you are doing, you're adding placeholders that have different names. Or like in content 4, you don't want to add 4 more in content 4s. Let's do another one here. Insert. Actually, I'm gonna do this one here. Just personally, I think learning that in English. I like your comment, Mike. Me too. And if you do, I want half of that. I'm kidding. I would just say if from like an English standpoint or from a grammatical standpoint, maybe the end of your article has a review or has your wrapping conclusion. So I would say from user experience, I think it'd be nice to have the entire conclusion or the review all together. So again, this is just kind of a personal preference. It's not the objective truth, but it's just what I'm going to do here. Mike said deal. Cool. I'm crossing my fingers. But again, honestly, the setup for the most part looks really cool. I think this child pricing calculator is a really awesome feature. Looks like you pulled that directly in from Excel. That's awesome. Let's turn this off. Cool. Oh wait, I gotta change this. Actually, I want to add one more. I wanted to add the sidebar floating one because this is a really, really well performing one. Again, since we're going to do sidebar floating, we want to make sure we turn this off for mobile because there's no sidebar. But if you guys do add placeholder like sidebar placeholders and you accidentally enable it for mobile, that's totally fine. Just go in, you can edit the placeholders and then turn off mobile from there. Cool. Successfully created. Turn off. Let's turn this off as well. Deactivate the Chrome extension. What I'm actually going to do for you, Mike, is I'm going to show you guys again how you can clear your cache for one URL. Let's go to caching. We can do clear cache by URL. We want to make sure we just do it for this URL, not all pages. Clear for that. So that way, when we reload the page, we should have all the new placeholders there. Again, if you guys are saying, hey, no, it's kind of annoying to clear your cache for the URL every single time you make a change, there is a automatic caching feature you guys can enable. Mike, it will not be available for you because it is available through our plugins. You do need to be using WordPress, but you guys can look up Zoic CDN management, and basically within the Chrome extension, you can set up automatic caching. But you guys can see, again, content always loads first. This was really great. How to calculate your childcare. Cool. Let's go back to the top. Okay, I don't know why this one. Oh, this. Okay, I have a pretty good idea of why this is showing up down here. We don't want that. Let's see what's going on here. Cool. Cool. So you see how it is testing a couple more variations of your pages right now. So we are seeing some more ads, but again, we just want to give our ad tester some more time to figure this out. This is adaptive sizing ad. If you guys do see like back-to-back ads like this, what these basically are, if our ad tester finds it's more valuable in terms of revenue to show two ads inside one placeholder location without it hurting UX, it'll basically do this. These are called adaptive ads. Yeah, but this looks awesome. My sidebar floating placeholder is not showing, which is something I want to make sure it does show. But if you guys don't like when this happens, we can actually turn this off. I want to show you how to do that really quick. I'm putting this page under a lot of stress. So I forget which one it was showing the adaptive. But if you guys want to ever edit this or edit any placeholders, you can just click on the little title here, click on edit, and this adaptive sizing right here. So if I were to turn this off, our ad tester would stop showing that variation of two ads in one location for one placeholder. It's actually, this ad type of ad does perform really well, so I don't want to turn it off for you. But again, if you guys don't like it, this is 100% under your control. You're more than welcome to do that. Just to kind of go more into the editing of placeholders, these are actually all the different sizes that are enabled for this placeholder. So if you're saying, hey, you know what, all the other ones are great, but I don't like this banner one, it's 468 by 60. I don't want that. You can simply just turn it off by unclicking it. You can also click it and turn it on again. If you guys will also see down here, this is the devices that it's going to be enabled for. So this will be enabled for desktop and tablet, but it's not enabled for mobile. That's totally fine. Again, with these ones, these are smaller ones. This is 250 by 250. So you see it's enabled by desktop, tablet, and mobile because these all perform really well. I would suggest leaving the default placeholder sizes enabled because that's just, it's not what we just decide to show. It's what the data points to being most beneficial. So again, the decisions we make will be based off the data that we have on it. But it looks like this sidebar placeholder floating one is not being added. So let me try to add it to another div. Let me see if I can grab this section right here. Bear with me. Let me get the perfect touch. Let's see what this does here with the sidebar floating. Again, mobile off. So if you guys notice when I first added that sidebar placeholder, I did add it to, it looked like a pretty specific div, so it could have just been a bad element. It was almost like loading outside of the sidebar placeholder, of the sidebar actual content. So let's see how this goes. I might need to reverse the sidebar bottom one, but if it replaces the sidebar bottom with the sidebar floating, that would be a much better performing ad than the one that just is stagnant there. Cool. So now you see it's just gonna just replace the sidebar bottom one because it's just gonna perform much better. But now you guys can see, it doesn't disrupt anything in terms of content, but it stays in the viewability. We have the adaptive ad. Of course, it's reloading again because I've been making tons of changes to this page. But in terms of the placeholder setup and ad setup now, this looks awesome. This looks much better. I don't love this ad right here. I do not think this is a good one. Mike, I do believe that this placeholder is going to be the second bottom of the page you added. Again, I don't ever really want to delete placeholders because they do carry valuable data, but I would say that this is maybe one that we could deactivate. We have a bottom of the page location we could test right here, but we also have one that we could test right here. So I would say removing this one is probably a good idea. It looks like it's almost covering some content. It's kind of fitted kind of weird in here. So if you guys do want to ever delete them, you just hit this and then delete. Again, I don't want to delete that. That can be done on your end. That footer one is bad. So Mike, if you do want me to delete it, let me know. Do it. I like your faith in me, Mike. I really appreciate it. But look, so I'll just go delete. It'll give you the scary warning because it is a valid warning. It says, hey, this ad unit accounts for 2% of your total revenue. Are you sure you want to permanently delete this? We can still go yes, because you still have two really good performing bottom of the page placeholders here that are in much better locations. This one will show at the bottom of the page while you float, and the other one will still show here. See how even now once I remove it, now it was actually disrupting the content and the CSS of the page. So this looks much better. I wouldn't even say that having an ad right there, like this content is probably not, or this piece of text is probably not something that your users are engaging with a ton as it is. So this type of change would be totally okay. Cool. But yeah, so that's kind of like a little bit of placeholder best practices. What I would kind of do after that is, I know the analytics tab is acting kind of funky right now. I think I am cookied into a bad version. But basically what I would do then, I was try to find a longer article, Mike, and then do the same thing from there. So let's say this article was much longer, which it looks about the similar length, but I want to show you how these placeholders actually carry over better. So for instance, you already see this ad in the sidebar. This one transferred over from the other page really well. That's a great thing to see. Activate placeholders. I just want to see. I just want to show you guys how the actual other ones that the other placeholders that I loaded in are actually performing. So we have my in content 2 that added in. See, this is a great carryover. This is a great location. 4 was, so it looks like whatever element I added 3 to, it was not added well to, or didn't transfer over. 5 is in another great location. 8 is still there. So the placeholder setup still on this page, even though it's a little different and longer, the placeholder setup is still much better. I would say, this is probably what was disrupting the placeholder, the third one that we added. So, go ahead. I'm just going to go ahead and do it because I feel like you would want me to do this for you. I'll just go ahead and add another one here for you right now. And I'm probably going to add this as 9, just in case on another page it's not going to load 2 3s. Again, I can leave this for mobile. I'm going to leave the default placeholder size as enabled, and then that looks great. Cool. So yeah, I mean, of course, that information is going to be, universal for you all. That's not going to be specifically just to Mike's page. That's going to be basically something similar I would do to everyone else's pages. If you were to say, hey, Charlie, can you take a look at my placeholder setup? That's basically what I'm going to do in general. Again, I think some of the really important ones that I would say is for you all to check is, Mike has his bottom of the page one. This is a really good performing ad. This is a really good performing ad as well. Those are also 2 ads that don't really hinder, user experience that much. This is a little bit more subjective and not as universal, but a lot of the data that's come out with some of the younger audience in the internet is that we've been so exposed to seeing so many ads and so much content of something like this that actually having more ads doesn't hinder user experience. But for someone like my dad that grew up reading the newspaper and saw, maybe less ads, it might be a little bit more intrusive, which is totally understandable and extremely valid. But again, even him, someone, I learned a lot and you got some of my homework done. I'm happy to do some of your homework for you, Mike. I will do for any of you guys in here. Honestly, I'm more than happy to do this. And I kind of carried that over a little bit longer because no one was really asking any other questions, but it seemed like, that was information that's very beneficial to someone else. Mike, I think this is an awesome site. The setup looks great. The content looks great. I love the sidebar, the layout here. It looks really good. I will say that like some of the titles of these are rather smaller. I wasn't sure if you wanted to change maybe the layout of this and consolidate some of it. But again, this is a really, really awesome setup. You did a really good job. This is a really cool site. It's definitely got a unique niche. So it might not be as competitive as others, but you could definitely take advantage of this and be the monopolizer of this niche, because you have a great setup, some great content, and great stuff here. But yeah, Mike, still, I want to say, dial in your AdSense. You want to, link your AdSense, import the data, and then link AdSense mediation. That will help a ton in terms of revenue too. But Mike, you do have access to humix as well. So if you do want to say, hey, I want to show ads on my pages, but I actually don't have any videos myself, Humix is basically a video sharing network. This is such a big deal. Business Wire just wrote a really lengthy article on this right now of why it's so unique. It's going to be so beneficial for many in the future. We're really the only ad network that's kind of doing something like this and working with Humix right now. But you can basically turn this on. Margaret, I will for sure reply to your email. Absolutely. Let me just see if it did show. And refresh my page for you, Margaret, and make sure I got it. But yeah, Humix is going to basically. Margaret, I actually didn't get your email. Do you want to throw your email down in the comment section and I can reach out to you? But Humix is going to be probably another, a next step for your homework, Mike. This will be a really good one. This is going to be a huge feature we're going to push soon. You guys will see some major updates to the dashboard later next month. I don't want to ruin it, but this will be exciting one to keep an eye out for. You can basically turn this on, add other people's videos to your pages, that are relevant to your content, and then you can basically be earning and sharing revenue with others. Another thing I'd like to touch up on is, who was it? SEMrush. SEMrush recently published an article and they released this data and found that 83% of websites or pages that do share video get better engagement. As you guys know, that is in turn better engagement, better user experience, better revenue. So the data from SEO specialist also promotes this. And that's just something you guys should all think about. And definitely some of the newer changes that we make here at Azoic, which are going to be substantial, will definitely help facilitate this growth. Awesome. Well, I haven't really had many other questions. I know I was kind of doing a lot of hands up stuff. Initial return. Did you email me? Did you email me your domain initial return? I don't have a WhatsApp number, Margaret. Sorry, and we can't really communicate with publishers like that. But again, I can do it via email. I can do it via Twist. I can do it via support. Any other way, I'd be more than happy to. You didn't email me your website initial return. What's my email address? Again, I can offer my first piece of insight, and then I can give you a little bit of tips and maybe next best practices. But from there, we will have to do the rest of the troubleshooting actually through support. It's not just because I don't want you guys emailing me. It's just because I want you guys to get adequate answers, and I don't want you guys waiting too long to get an answer. Because if you email me and it's 10 p.m. at night, I'm probably going to be asleep already. I go to bed early. But our UK team, for example, will be on, within a couple of hours, so they can help you out for the rest of the time there. But I am gonna probably wrap things up. It was supposed to be an hour and a half. We did, just short of 2 hours. That's totally fine. It seemed like it was beneficial for a few of you, which I'm more than happy to do that. I don't care if it was beneficial for just one person, as long as it was, it's a success. We will be making changes again to also our dashboard, but also how you guys get support through Zoic. It'll be a lot less confusing. Don't want to share, I can't expose too much of it yet, but I think it should be rolling out within the next 2 weeks, maybe earlier, maybe a little bit later. Mike, I'm happy to be a good helping hand here. I'm willing to do it for absolutely any of you guys. You know, that's part of the reason why I also love working on the Access Now team, is because I don't think many other people or networks, especially outside of Zoic, no one outside of Zoic is willing to give the type of help we do to our publishers on the smaller end. A lot of ad networks will say, actually, don't even talk to us unless you have 50,000 page views a month or 50,000 visits. I think that's erroneous. I think that's ridiculous. I think there are so many really good small sites out there that could use that little bit of TLC that I'm willing to give, that our program is willing to give. But yeah, that's also why I love this program so much, because I think ethically it falls in line with what I value. Zoic is willing to do whatever they can to help out the smallest publishers. You have Dwayne, our CEO, literally telling people within the company, like, hey, no, we're not going to limit anything with Access Now. They're going to get permission and access to absolutely everything that a VIP publisher does, within some restrictions of terms of like support and whatnot. But in terms of humix, video, speed, monetization, ad network, your ad tester, everything is going to be set up and dialed in the same. So that's also why I really, really, really love this team. I love putting my foot in the door for the little guys, and letting you guys grow and do really well. It's something that I intrinsically take a lot of value from. It's not about me, of course. I don't know why I'm even going off on this tangent, but I just want to let you guys know that I will help you out in every way, shape, or form I can. And everyone on our team will, everyone at Zoic will. We do stand for you all, and we will give you guys full access to our platform. But Mr. Cast Iron says, my first time here. Thanks for the helpful info, Charlie. Thanks for joining. I'm happy you were to join. I'm happy we can create somewhat, a little bit of a relationship. But yeah, you guys can reach out to me whatever you want. Even say, hey Charlie, hey look, I made more money off X tip, or this worked for me in X way. I'd love to hear about it. I'd love to continue to help. That's basically what I will always do for you all. Open Today says, please resend the email now. I've done the update. Okay, let me send you the update. Let me send you the email again really quick before I walk away. But again, I love the Access Now program. I love working with you guys. You guys put in tons of effort. You guys don't get all the love and support you guys deserve in other ad networks. So I'm more than happy to do it. I would like to say, Zoic is not just an ad network. It's an all-in-one platform for you guys to use in order to grow your site. So that's also why in the Access Now program, it's so valuable, because it gives you everything. You can do literally, hosting, SSL, analytics, privacy, monetization, site speed, video, humix. We can help manage your content, SEO efforts, caching. We'll give you all the optimization opportunities you guys have. So again, I'm going on a little bit of a tangent again, but I kind of like to do it because I just wanted to let you guys know that you guys are all important to me. You're all important to the Access Now program, and I'm willing to fight for you all, and I continue will. But that about wraps up for me. I just want to say thank you guys so much for coming. Thanks for listening to me word vomit. Sometimes I stutter over my own words. Thank you guys for just pushing through and listening. I will be holding more of these live streams in the future. This is definitely very early on in my live stream venture. I'm going to be doing more fun, interactive things. Again, I'm going to be setting up a little bit some smaller webinars, so I can basically show you guys how to utilize and optimize some of the other features that I think are underutilized right now. But if you guys do have a time of the week, you say, hey Charlie, I would love to listen to a live stream. I'm usually busy the time of day you guys do it. Just let me know, and I can hold another one then. Whether it's on Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, if it's late at night, if it's early in the morning. Again, I'll just do it whenever you guys want me to, so you guys can get access to it. It's fun for me. I love sitting here and talking to you guys. I love showing you that we are, normal people just like you. We are website publishers just like you. I have my own domain I work on. I have my own content to work on. I have my own placeholder set up to work on. I have my own DNS stuff to work on. So I just want to, it's a nice time for me to show that, we are normal people just like you all. But that's probably going to be my last time going on a little mini venture. Thank you guys so much again for joining. I hope you guys have a great rest of your Thursday, whether it's late at night or maybe you have more time in the day you're in Hawaii. But thank you for joining. Have a safe weekend. For those of you in Ohio or on the East Coast or on the South End, stay safe. I'm always rooting for you guys all. And I appreciate you all listening in. You guys are the best. I love you all. And have a great weekend. Bye, everyone.